before we begin, I wanted to show you some pictures that I got from some families. Here's the first one. Look at this red bird. This is called a scarlet tanager. Look at that color. Scarlet is another word for red, for a very bright, bright kind of red. So you can see how that bird got its name. And this was sent to me by a family that was out for a walk, and they were looking at the birds and they spotted this scarlet tanager. I am very impressed because I don't think I've ever seen one in real life. That's very beautiful. So I want to say thank you to Jasper and Reese and their sister Juliet for sending that. It's a really great find. I'm really glad that you got to see that bird out in the wild. That's exciting. And this picture is from a nest that a bird made in a wreath on a family's door. And so they were able to watch the nest get built and the eggs just show up. The bird laid the eggs and saw the babies hatch. And here's a picture of the babies. And so thank you so much, Sophia, and hi, I hope you're doing well. I really appreciate you showing me that. That was really exciting, I bet, for you to watch that whole process. Okay, and this photo is actually from my yard. And this is a little bird house that some children gave to me a couple years ago. And I hung it up in a tree. And I'm embarrassed to say I didn't really get very close to it and check out what was going on in it, just because sometimes I can be a scatterhead, I guess. But I just checked it out recently, and look at all those sticks and twigs. So very clearly that's become a home for a family of birds. And I'm very proud that I've got a little house for birds right there in my tree. So I want to say thank you so much to Maeve and Rowan. That was a really magical gift. And look what you did with your gift. You made a space for a bird family. And finally, this is not a picture. This is a video that was sent by Charlie's family. They had a bird's nest on their property too, and they got to get some video of the baby birds. They took these at a very safe distance, so you could use a zoom on the camera and see, look at those birds waiting to get fed. And do you see the color of the eggshell, that bright, bright blue? That to me says robin's egg. There's something called robin's egg blue that looks just like that. So that would be my guess, robin's egg. So beautiful. So children, thank you so much for all of the wonderful bird pictures and bird videos and birdhouse gifts and things like that. And I bet you know what we're going to talk about today. So let's get started. Hello children, welcome to Preschool Meeting. I'm Miss Stephanie and I'm really glad you could be here. And I bet you know what we're going to talk about today. Birds. Birds are amazing. They're fascinating to watch. It's a nice hobby that people have too. They'll go out for walks and maybe they'll bring their binoculars and they'll look for different kinds of birds and they'll keep track. They'll write down all the birds that they've seen. Well, there's over 1,000 different kinds of birds in the world. That's a lot. And some are very big, like the ostrich, which can't fly, but it can run very fast. And some are really tiny, like the bee hummingbird is only about this big, and it can fly backwards. Hummingbirds are interesting. If you've ever put up a hummingbird feeder and watched the hummingbirds come and you see them hovering in the air and you hear the little buzz of their wings because they're flapping so fast. It's really pretty interesting. Yeah, birds are amazing. All birds have feathers. All birds have wings, even if they don't fly. And all birds lay eggs. And that's some things to know about birds. And I have a nice book about birds and how they take care of their young. They build some kind of a nest or some place to put the eggs. So let's check it out. I hope you enjoy it. Children, today's book is called Mama Built a Little Nest, and it's by Jennifer Ward and illustrated by Steve Jenkins. That means that Jennifer Ward wrote the words and Steve Jenkins made the pictures. Mama Built a Little Nest. That's an interesting kind of nest. I'm going to be interested to learn about that. This is a rhyming book. So see if you can listen for the rhymes. Words that rhyme sound alike at the end. Like, for example, bird and herd. They start out different. Bird starts b, b, and herd starts h, h. But the ending part, the erd, is the same, rhymes. So I heard a bird. It's a rhyme. It's a little poem of a sort. Okay, Mama built a little nest inside a sturdy trunk. She used her beak to tap, tap, tap. The perfect place to bunk. So in this book, you get a little poem about the nest building, and then we get some facts. And this says, tree hole nests, also known as cavity nests, are created by the male and female woodpecker. They peck away and make a cavity. Cavity means a little hole. If you've ever had a cavity in your teeth, I hope not, but if so, you go to the dentist and they take care of it. That's a little hole in your teeth. Well, this is a little cavity in a tree. I don't know if you can hear that. There's birds right outside tweeting. Mama built a little nest, a cup so wee and snug, with walls of moss and roof of sky and silky cobweb rug. Oh, a hummingbird makes the smallest cup-shaped nest. It uses spider web, so the little nest will stretch as the chicks grow. That's very clever. Mama built a little nest. Well, actually she didn't. She found one that another made, and then she laid me in it. Interesting. So look at this nest. Oh, do you think these are robin's eggs maybe? Bright blue? But one of the eggs is different. Oh, that's not bright blue. Not all birds build nests. The cowbird, whydah, and cuckoo find a nest built by another bird species. They lay their eggs in it and fly off, leaving their eggs in the care of the bird who built the nest. I wonder what it would be like to come back to your nest and see a different egg there. Another bird to raise. It's a lot of work, huh? Mama built a little nest. Her daddy helped out too. They placed my egg upon his feet. That's where I hatched and grew. You see the little egg there on the daddy's feet. The emperor penguin uses a living nest, the father penguin. The father uses his beak to roll the mother's egg upon his feet quickly so that it doesn't freeze, and carefully so it doesn't break. There it stays buried under his tummy folds for about 60 days, warm and protected. Here's the tummy folds keeping that egg warm. Aw, that's cozy. Mama scraped a simple nest upon a craggy ledge. She tucked me safe within her wings until my time to fledge. Fledge means to fly away when you're little. Certain birds, such as the falcon, create a nest called a scrape on a high cliff edge. The mother and father may scrape away at the ledge, creating a small indentation. A little part that dents in is an indentation. So that's called a scrape because they scrape away a little bit so that the baby is safe in a little indentation, like a little pocket. Oh, here comes some food. Looks like dinner or lunch or breakfast. Looks like a fish. Daddy built a little nest, and then he built another and another and another, hoping to impress my mother. Oh, that's a lot of nests. Why did that daddy bird build so many nests? Let's see. Like many wrens, a male cactus wren builds nests in a cactus, right? A male cactus wren builds several dome-shaped nests to attract a female. If impressed, that means if she likes the nest, the female will choose one and then continue to add to its structure. Remaining nests may be used as resting places or roosts by the father and may also serve as decoys to confuse predators. Ah, okay. So let's say the mom and dad choose this nest to lay their eggs in. Well, then a predator might see this nest and think, aha, birds for me to eat, but it's empty. I don't think so. Interesting. So that's called a decoy, like a fake. Mama built a little nest. She used her beak to sew a woven nest of silky grass, the perfect place to grow. That's the bird that was on our cover. Is that right? Look at that. Weaver birds create detailed woven nests by sewing and weaving nesting materials together. They pull grasses and fiber over, under, around, and through, using only their beak and feet. Wow. clever. Mama built a little nest by digging out a burrow. It was a hoot, our little home, a safe and feathery furrow. That's a joke called a pun, saying it was a hoot. When you say something is a hoot, it means it's really fun. But what sound does an owl make? Hoot, hoot. The burrowing owl nests underground in a burrow nest. It can dig its own burrow or use an abandoned burrow created by a mammal. So maybe another animal, like maybe a mole, would have made a hole in the ground. Do you hear that rhyme? Mole hole? Maybe the owl would use that for a nest, a burrow, a little hole, cozy hole in the ground. Mama built a little nest. She gathered twigs that float and placed them on the water to create a cozy boat. A little boat nest. Grebes create a floating nest on the water and anchor it to water plants. So that it doesn't float away, they make sure that there's plants around it to hold it in place. One egg. Would you like to live in a floating home? A floating home? Sorry, I bumped the camera. Mama built a little nest. She made it on the ground. A simple nest, not very soft, with pebbles smooth and round. Now see all those pebbles? Some of those things that look like pebbles are actually eggs. Can you tell which ones? Over here. Eggs. They're camouflaged among the pebbles, and that helps keep them safe, because if a predator comes along, the predator might think, oh, those are just pebbles, I'll keep going. They're eggs. Many shorebirds create scrape nests. Remember, we learned about scrape nests, when you scrape away to make a little dent. Scrape nests on the ground. Their eggs often have colors and patterns to help camouflage them with their environment. Camouflage means hide. Can you find the eggs? We did. Daddy built a little nest. Now don't gross out. With spit. Oh, who would have thought that spit would make the perfect place to sit? So that bird's nest is created using spit from the daddy bird. The swiftlet makes an edible nest using tube-shaped saliva, which hardens in the air. Swiftlet's nests are used in bird's nest soup, a Chinese delicacy. Interesting. So after the birds are done with the nest, a chef could make it into a soup. Wow, that's recycling, right? Mama built a sealed nest within an old tree's hollow. My daddy left a little hole to pass her food to swallow. There's the daddy sending a berry to the mom, who's just poking her little head out. Let's see, the hornbill makes a cavity nest. Remember, a cavity is a hole. A cavity nest inside a tree hollow. With the female inside and the male outside, both birds use mud and droppings to seal the cavity. They're closing the mom in temporarily. A small hole is left open, which the male uses to feed the female. She remains locked inside the nest to incubate, that means to grow in a safe way, their clutch. After the chicks have hatched, the female breaks out, helping the male feed and care for their young from the outside until the chicks are old enough to leave the nest. I have to wonder what that's like for the mom when her incubating is done and she gets to break out. Mama built a sturdy nest by stacking twigs up high, a breezy house upon a tree where talons blend with sky. Talons, that's a word for these sharp feet that some birds of prey have, talons. The male and female bald eagle build a stick nest called an eyrie by gathering and layering many sticks. Their nests are among the largest of all bird nests, usually 5 to 6 feet in diameter and 2 to 4 feet high. So to give you an idea about how wide those nests are, that's about as tall as a grown man or woman. If a grown man or a woman, like if one of your grown-ups lay down on the ground, that's how wide an eagle's nest could be. That's very large. Mama built a little nest entirely out of mud. No feathery down, no soft green plants, just fuddy, muddy crud. Oh, look at that. It works for them. The male and female flamingo birds build a mound-shaped nest on the ground using mud, into which the female lays just one egg. There was a rhyme in there. Did you hear it? Mound, ground. A mound is like a hill or this here, a structure. Mound, ground. It's on the ground. You have a nest, your very own, a place to rest your head, with pillows soft and cozy thoughts. Your nest is called a bed. And that's the end. I hope you enjoyed it. Let's count the parrots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 picnicking parrots. Here's something fun to do. We made a time lapse of our bird feeder. That is, we set up a camera to take lots of pictures of our bird feeder when we weren't looking. And then we looked to see what birds showed up at our feeder. Take a look.
Whoa, cat!
Well, children, thank you so much for coming to preschool meeting. I really enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Hey, Charlie, can we look at your baby birds again? Oh, so sweet.